The food spread has given bread to the proletarian state. This resolved the main tasks: the supply of the Red Army with grain, the organization of victory over the White Guards and the interventionists, and the salvation of the worker as the main productive force. The food discovery, however, had its negative aspects. In carrying out the policy of surplus appropriation, the Soviet government was compelled to collect in the village not only surpluses of grain, but also food supplies, which are often necessary for the peasants. It was a policy of forcible seizure of agricultural products necessary to ensure victory on the civil fronts. The average peasant lost the economic incentive to maintain and expand his economy. Along with the greatest military victory won by the Soviet authorities on the fronts, we, Lenin said, were defeated by the spring of 1921. It was expressed in the fact that our economic policy in its upper reaches was torn from the bottom and did not create the rise of the productive forces, which in the program of our party is recognized as the main and urgent task. The spreading in the countryside, this direct communist approach to the tasks of building in the city, hindered the rise of the productive forces and was the main cause of the deep economic and political crisis that we came across in the spring of 1921. Lenin, Collected Works, Volume XX7, p. The party and the Soviet government took a number of measures to raise the productivity of small-scale peasant farming. In every way promoting the development of cooperation, the Soviet government assisted the poor peasantry with machinery, implements, the organization of rolling points, the regulation of peasant land use, the supply of seeds and fertilizers, the improvement of livestock breeds, and so on. The all-round development, the encouragement of collective forms of economy, was one of the most important tasks of the Soviet government's agricultural policy during the Civil War. Organized by the Soviet government, the rural poor, under the guidance of the working class, organized the first collective farms communes, artels and other cooperative partnerships. The Soviet authorities rendered every possible assistance to this initiative. Decree of the Council of People's Commissars of November 2, 1918 provided for a special fund for measures for the development of agriculture. 1 billion rubles was allocated for the issuance of grants and loans to communes, artels and groups of peasant farms, subject to their transition from single-handed to public processing of land. The loan was determined by the compulsory execution of agronomical rules and repayment in kind. The government provided all kinds of benefits to communes, artels and other associations in fulfilling state obligations. Thus, for example, in the decree of the Council of People's Commissars on March 9, 1920, on collecting hemp, the agricultural collectives deliverers were provided with doubled bonuses. In the decree of the Council of People's Commissars on the organization of hemp and flax crops of November 12, 1920, the People's Commissariat of Agriculture was asked to supply agricultural groups of flax-growing areas with machines and seeds, and encourage the development of cooperative partnerships. In extremely difficult conditions, with limited possibilities of supporting collective forms on the part of the state during the years of the Civil War, this work was crowned with a certain success.